here before. Falling faster, I try to ignore. I see you, I see you. I'll let you drag me to hell if you hold my hand. Tell me this is real and it will never end. This is not what I came here to find. Memories show that I'm out of time. See a shadow, don't know if it's mine, but I see you, I see you, I see you, I see has me wondering. Thought that I had figured it out. Nothing could get through to me, but this kind of chemistry has me wondering. When you're not around it, all goes black and white. How come I'm not seeing in color? Lost without you, I can't make it through the night. How come I'm not seeing in color?
Hello, and good evening, everyone, to week 4 of Valorant in NECC. My name is Sam Talks. Joining me on the desk is going to be Zobi. And Zobi, we actually have a really fun game tonight as we step into Division 2. We have St. Clair Saints Academy taking on the Fishermen. Right, it's a great name. I always love how Fisher names their team. But yeah, we get to take a look at the roster down below.
Yeah, there the rosters are, and I'm completely excited for this match as well. You know, we've been sharing the love with other divisions, but this is the cream of the crop when it comes to the academy teams and titans of collegiate, right? So it's a great opportunity, and you know these teams are going to be trying to do it all, right? As undefeated squads, right? Fisher 3-0, SCC 2-0, simply because they have one of their matches rescheduled for tomorrow. But all in all, I mean, looking at these rosters, you have recognizable names. I think the most recognizable for me, obviously, Camlord and Mikey over on the Fisher squad, and then there's new faces, right, on the SCC side that are definitely going to, I think, catch many eyes, like Dizzy. This is his first semester in collegiate, but he's been top frag of almost every single game on the Sentinel role for SCC Academy.
And I think we were also talking about that before the broadcast went live, right, Zobi? The SCC Academy team being this more support-focused team, or on the flip side, Fishermen looking at their duelists to make things happen. So it's a battle of the supports versus the battle of the duelists, and which one has the better fragging power. Now we take a look at our maps. We're going to be starting off on Corrode, which I'm not going to have this for very much longer, so better enjoy it while it's here, into Split, and our decider going to be Haven. Now, this being chosen by Fishermen, Zobi, for Corrode, it makes sense with how it tracks out on the way the maps that they've played so far.
No, absolutely. It was the 13-10 victory up against Otsu Esports Varsity, and I'm curious to see how SCC is going to fare on it since they haven't played it this semester. But I was combing through the scrim books, and they have like prepared, like they work on other maps in the background, even if it's ones they haven't necessarily played. Like I've seen a Breeze, for example. Ooh. So I'm hoping that they didn't mess up by thinking of picking into that map. Versus on the flip side, SCC, they're picking into a map that they know Fisher has played but hasn't won, right, which is that split pick where they lost 6-13 actually to Otsu Esports Varsity. So to me, it's like, Fisher, this is a must win, and then you can see if you grew from that loss on split, but if not, you have that safety of Haven, right? Your most reps map so far, you've won on it twice, etc.
I think that's also the flip side, though, that we have to look towards SCC, is that also Haven is a good map for them as well, right? Maybe not quite as many reps as what Fisher has had, but still one that have shown dominance on so far. And especially with what we've seen out of St. Clair Academy, this is going to be a tough matchup, I think, for Fishermen in how they've been playing and how they are looking. But is there any tease that we can get from both of these squads? Never mind, it's here. Agent Select. We have up for Corrode right now.
Yeah, I mean, I already hyped up the chamber. He is there. I'm excited to see what side he's going to be playing it towards and how you're going to couple that, again, with the Whale, who can also get super aggressive and TP out. On the flip side, obviously, I did highlight the duelists here, and they usually go for more of a double duelist composition. This is the one map where the roles are kind of up in the air, right? It's usually Slayer and Mikey both on that duelist, but Slayer is left to his devices here. And then Black Moose on the KO is super, super aggressive, super, super dangerous as well, statistically speaking, one of the highest KDAs in the league alongside players like Mikey. So I am super curious how it's going to fare in that regard. I'm going to be looking towards Mikey and being off role too.
Yeah, this is going to be a intense matchup, I think, and especially looking at the Battle of the Duelists, right, with Waylay having dominated the conversation for a good reason, a good majority of teams playing this agent, and how powerful she is right now. TP in, dash in, rather, and TP out, make some insane plays. And like you said, we also see the rise of the double duelist, which both of these teams are skewing away from, electing to go for either the double controller or the double initiator and the chamber on the other side. So this is, I think, going to be just one of those matchups where we're seeing how the compositional differences and the reps that Fishermen have for themselves is going to play out for on this map.
No, absolutely. And it does mean that those duelists have to be in peak form. And obviously starting out here as well with that chamber on the defense is going to be a fun little touch, right, for the side of a Fisherman, or I should say SCC, as our nameplates seem to be swap-ski-doodled alongside those logos that will get fixed for you very, very shortly. But all in all, getting things started, we're going to see some aggressive mid-play out of SCC, and on the flip side, Fisher trying to set their sights on B main.
Yeah, D&D already tagged out by the Aldrone. Let's play towards the safety of sight. Couple of shots from Sushi, full blinded out. Gonna get away in the nick of time, but Jello, depressed by the knife. but still able to get out in the nick of time. And a lot of that pressure, a lot of that presence, right, once the smokes come up, especially the amount of damage that Black Moose took, it's just going to push them away.
The regroup here as well, knowing the blade's been dulled just a bit. They'll need the full force. But in the meantime, look at how proactive SCC has gotten over towards A main, right? You do have KM Lord obviously on this mid lurk, but could he handle the full front scaling of 3 players?
It's going to be difficult. Meanwhile, on the other side, right, 3 players from St. Clair is walking out of A. Finally, the initiation is going to go in. Sliding without a care in the world is Slayer. Grabs the first headshot into Dragon. Now D&D is waiting over in towards CT spawn. Well, the shots go out, but not quite connecting or landing on anything just yet. Tries to take their chances. Slayer yet again picks up another.
I mean, you got no retaliation, you got no sights of life, so flipping the site is the logical solution since, as we know, they have taken all of that main space. So now it's just down to Dizzy, that freshman at least in the collegiate competitive sphere, and he's just trying to bait out kills, see what he can find, waiting for the suppression to go away.
Yeah, but that staying around for as long as it did. Switch to the headhunter as fast as you can. Hunted down by the knife, but no knife here. Only a Mikey headshot and a fisherman. Round number 1.
Very, very nicely done. Again, especially after they had that chip damage up against them from players like D&D on the SCC side. We didn't really get to see, I feel like, Cam Lord shine. He was in such an interesting, right, passive tuck position there over towards A Link. And I think that's going to come in handy, especially in these late rounds more than anything, as that backpedal, that plan B to lean back towards the opposite side of the map. But for now, it's Nico. Things are going to get messy. Things are going to get a bit silly. And it looks like SCC trying to replicate that mid aggression early on between the Waylay, between the Omen. We'll see what exactly able to find. I mean, KO's not traditional on this map, and we're still seeing the impact it can have, right? The Waylay forced to get out.
Yeah, it's difficult. More so when you get suppressed away. Ooh, Paranoia comes in. Dizzy saves the day for their teammate. Always nice to have that support, but Drake, and my word, when the walls fall, so do they. They see 3 players in front of them. That's a jump scare for the ages. D&D's gonna poke out a little bit further. Could play for some sneaky
spike planted
kills on the spike plant.
Yeah, Slayer soft cleared it, right? And I was worried if they got the timing to backstab, it could be dangerous, but now they're going back, you know, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and
oh! Wait, what? Okay, D&D beats him out with the classic. Black Moose had the forward knowledge to know that they were there, but this is also smart too. Unbelievable! Across the board, now it's down to a 3v2. Mikey, with that Phantom in hand, gonna have to do a lot of work here. But Dizzy, it's a headhunter for a reason. Smoke dissipates. Now looking up towards the heavens above. Still waiting for the rest of the team to flood in. And it's back and forth action happening now. D&D, the last player. Mikey triple kill. Gonna push them away, but that was a little scary for the fishermen.
A little dicey, a few mistakes, and we'll say that Slayer was lucky to be alive, that first headhunter from Dizzy did not connect, or I think it would have been a very, very hard follow through there for Mikey to keep that round under wraps for Fisherman, but second round on the board, nonetheless, and you can see them opting, okay, if we can't bonus it because we lost too many weapons, why don't we just buy into it, right? And they're still going to have a fairly decent buy in the follow-up after buying these 2 additional rifles, no matter how the round is spun, but we are getting a new web, which is over towards this A side. Not just do the duelist here, but you have the chamber as well.
Slayer's just not wasting any time, but maybe should have taken a little bit more time. They don't have any more to run with. Dizzy picks up another one for the St. Clair side.
1 enemy
This team is finally, once they get the weapons in hand, firing back in massive ways. We saw what they could do with classics. Now we're seeing what they do with rifles. Sushi may have fallen and not gonna give any more away to Mikey. Smokes come up. Meanwhile, look at the pinch coming towards this Omen.
He is contained absolutely too far off from the shadows, unless he got a lucky kill with the smoke, collected the ult door, but all of the sides, the walls are closing in.
Oof, man, yeah. It's just all about distraction tactics. Didn't even need the flank to do anything here, but if anything went awry. And I would say Zobi for St. Clair Saints Academy, right? You only lose 1 player, you lose your Waylay. Everyone else survives, they still get to hold up, they still get to buy up. But for the Fisherman, that buffer in the economy that you were talking about in the previous round is there. Look at the buy.
Yeah, Spectre, regen shield. It's not very sustainable, but see what they can get through with it. I mean, on the flip side, you still have like a Guardian regen shields on that side as well, so still puts them at about even footing, but oh no, it was more like speed in which they shut down a more directive A site and the oversight of there being this deep mid control. And speaking of, Teammate control the waylay, scaled while also Dizzy on that outskirt pick.
Yeah, we see a lot of that initiator util dumped into connector right here. That's a good relay bolt though. Draken caught right in the middle of it and equalizes the number back around. D&D not blinded by the flashbang from Black Moose, but they do get their vengeance this time, Zobi. Finally able to use the Spectre to get rid of this pesky Viper. Now it's really shaky tables here for St. Clair
Spike
Saints.
planted.
Yeah, I mean, they lost the Viper A main, but they still have a mid-lip deposited. Dizzy searching, and unfortunately loses their life while finding what they came for. Sushi now
One enemy remaining.
in to spawn alongside their sibling, but Omen looking a little lost for cause.
We're seeing that pesky Neon technique, right? And so far it looks like the Neon versus Waylay matchup is going really well for Fisher. Slayer just has it on lock. Here it is though, another round for Fishermen as they slide neatly into their third round one. They're feeling a little bold, kind of looking around for Jello, but not gonna press their luck any more than what they need to.
And I'm glad you mentioned the Neon and the effectiveness that we're seeing, right? Because we've seen the flip side of it too, when it fell flat, right?
Yep.
Up against the Waylay and a Link. And I think it's coming out of, okay, if they know they're there, they can set up the traps off the Neon, but if they don't know that they're there, then the Waylay has superiority, right? There's a little bit more leeway. And that's where we have to see this double initiator in perfect sync with Slayer versus them outpacing it, or how we can see SCC manipulate the information that 0 point, that recon bolt is finding. So now, I mean, you can see it. Possibly here would be playing a little bit deeper, maybe the Omen, right? Disconnected a little bit from the Waylay, Jello and Sushi, but all in all, the other alternative here, which I think the Chamber is starting to learn, is that he can't play us forward, right? He might not be able to rendezvous out if he gets clipped.
Yeah, this KO, right? You don't typically see it very often on Corrode, and it's just throwing a wrench into the plan of St. Clair. Izzy wasn't able to quite land the headshot and took a heck of a lot of damage. They're still alive. Meanwhile, Unlimited Power is running towards them at Mach speeds. Dizzy just says, you know what? Nah, don't need that. I'm out of here. And you can see why. Fissure has just flooded this site. They are all in control of it. They might. It's a tenuous grasp at best. Slayer's going to switch over to away from the Bucky to the rifle, and the spike is planted.
I like it when they flanked with that trio previously, right? We saw Fissure immediately flip the site, and they were too late to the party. Now everyone is here, and they have the players contained on site.
Goodness, looking good. 1 for 1. Ash's triple kill. Deadly as can be. Sova dominating the field. And you can see how much they want that ace. Fortunately, though, caught inside of that tether. Now only one left, Dizzy. The one who started this all. Now the one who has to finish it. 70 HP. Knows that Mikey's hiding in the corner, but time is running out.
One enemy remaining.
Looking for the picks. Get one, but Slayer has it for the uptake. Fisherman just feeling unstoppable.
And we could argue that, like, aside from, like, the pressing OTs, right, opponent-wise, this is the hardest that a new player like Dizzy is going to face, and he's still positive, he's still 6-4, but not finding those round-winning plays at the moment. And Mikey, I mean, 8-2 on the Omen, why are you on Duelist on other maps at this point? Has been tricky, has been lurking, and now we're seeing clutching out in those high-pressure situations late into the round. The coordination there was really, really clean alongside Slayer, and I like the damage control as their plan to push into Crane kind of fell flat with those shots from Draken. But now, Quarter Force online, A site, a dangerous game, and it felt like Fishermen planned around that very idea. And it's like SCC, they're like, we trust so much in Dizzy that we're gonna know they're gonna be scared towards B main, and we're gonna trap off of it, right? Paranoia ready, conversion paths ready. They just need the contact from this Prowler.
And this is crazy too, right? Where Fishermen have been going nuts on the speed game. This is slowed down massively. Aldrone. And it's smart on their end, right? They know that St. Clair.
Danico.
Yeah, they can fire back. In these moments, though, they need to figure out where the weak spots are and play for some of those picks. Something like that could happen. Right? This is crazy, though, from D&D. That paranoia keeps them safe, but D&D, they just couldn't land the headshot that they needed to. Now they just had to play away, and pivot back around towards the A side. Dizzy. Oh,
No.
The KO ultimate, the null command says no, thank you for the tour de force, but Dizzy's just gonna wait it out. That's all they need to do here. Unbelievable. In an attempt to pick up the gun, though, they sacrifice their life. This is crazy, though. It's a 2v2, Zobi.
No weapons collected though, they're unretrievable. And they're trying to keep them at bay, prevent them from flooding into where these corpses lie, so they will have the gun advantage.
And that's what's vital. But as long, you can see, right, 2 playing together. I don't think they have any flashbangs left. No recon dot nor owl drone. But Asher has to stay alive here, right? They have their ultimate. No one clear in this corner. That's gonna be bad news. That's gonna be really bad news. Draken's gonna be the one to deliver it. Jello, waiting on this other side. But again, the Initiator's playing this as well as they can. King of the spike, inside. Black Moose. It's the final nail in the coffin. Fishermen, they've been a little bit messy, but they're there.
Yeah, we're starting to see, again, nice creative ideas and that productivity from SCC, but once Fishermen get into that mid-round, they make really concrete calls, and once it hardens, there's no way to retake into these sites effectively. And, I mean, you can write it off as a win, maybe, for SCC, that they got that null command out, that they pushed to them to that regard, but it was at the risk, right, of that tour de force, which is, again, where we mentioned that KO versus the chamber, just such a strong cancellation. And now SCC realizing, okay, we have weapons back, our plans haven't worked fighting out of mid. The Waylay now paired with the chamber on the A line, and it's still just D&D solo holding B, and looking like they're gonna get disrespected here yet again.
Yeah, they left behind the snakebite to slow down the push as long as they could, but once that smoke goes down, things are gonna get real scary. No one to break the trip. Perfect from Slayer. They play a distraction game to near perfection. Once Asher comes in, it's all over. Then they go into the backside, get rid of the Odin.
7 bullets?
Wow. Wow.
Almost wasn't gonna reload there too, but this is gonna be like the high-low deluxe I was about to say, but 2 above, 2 below. But Sushi, Dizzy,
One enemy
on the
remaining.
midline, taken down, isolated from each other. I thought maybe it was gonna be like a save game if they both were being this disconnected from the retake, but 6-1, we're gonna need a SCC Academy timeout sooner rather than later here.
Yeah, I agree. Right, and I think a grand majority of that problem was, right, D&D was on that side by themselves. Once the utility started dumping in, it becomes so difficult for them to do anything there. There was so many signs of life from Fisher, and this team so far, Zobi, from what we've seen out of them, right, they've been sort of hesitant to have the rotations on hand. Once they've made their mind up on a site that they want to go to, they are going to it.
We could be disproven when the side swap, but SCC Academy's composition feels so defense-sided, right? Not just that chamber, but the way who has that safer fraction, you can get aggressive on any line you want, and the double controller like D&D, again, should be that B-side anchor specialist, or should be, again, getting off to play retake with the team, so they have that cycle of the toxic screen, and we just haven't been able to see that. And you can see Fishermen are now leaning back towards B because of how easy it has been to get onto that site in a numbers advantageous position.
I like where we're going here. Yep. D&D just has to play this. Owl drone. I don't think it actually spotted them. They might be good here. You see, they had the idea for the snake bite in their head. They're just waiting it out. Once the toxic screen goes down, they're readjusting their position. Still a good first pickoff for St. Clair, but you've left D&D by themselves. Thankfully, one smoke is going to come up, and they're full blinded out. Slayer is not missing anything. And I think too, Zobi, right? What we're seeing here is that they just know that this B side is relatively undefended.
No, absolutely. And any worries I had about the solo duelist have been nullified, right? Slayer shining in a spotlight, always poking and prodding even into the defender spawn. And this time it feels like SCC Academy is aware of it.
Yeah. Gonna try and give us a look up at the diverging pass. Maybe no, Sushi just decides to face tank that.
That's 3.
Slayer, unreal! On track for the ace. One more player to go, and they know exactly where the fade is. They know exactly
go.
where the target is. They just got to get that one final shot. They got to make the clip look good while doing it. An ace for Slayer, and a 7th round 1 for Fishermen.
And I just have so many questions about that round. Like, how did it come down to a 1v2, first off? And then second, like, what was that decision change? What was that call from SCC Academy, right? They had everything set up, right? Paranoia, Convergent Path is ready to flood into Alley, and then there was this call, like, don't invest it, just clear it out first. And that's where things went south, is not showing that proper respect to Fishermen, who have been running them over, right? Multiple times now this half, and have solidified themselves a lead, and probably more so, right? Money, still a bit scattered, ults favoring Fishermen. We cannot see this hesitation we're seeing.
Yeah, and now we're seeing some adaptation too from St. Clair. They put Dizzy on B site. I think what they may also be a little bit nervous about is not seeing anything else. That flashbang is perfect. A paranoia blinds them out, and it forces Dizzy to hit the TP. Now they're gonna have to take their 1v1 against Slayer, which they win.
But that's
Ace
the difference,
extraordinaire.
right? With the chambers, they can get out, they can anchor and then leave without repercussions, unlike D&D. And speaking of D&D,
Spike
he
planted.
fought a main, found the kill, and now has the team completely confined. Like, they went all the way back into CT.
All right. Nightfall goes in. Dizzy, 30 HP, but they're being hit out by the Null Command. Dizzy on the high ground. D&D finally making their presence known. And in grand old fashion, now Dizzy has to look back around. Gets the headshot there, traded by Asher. And we're looking towards Drake and defusing the spike. There's no way that Asher can do anything here.
Hunter's Fury?
Remaining.
No Hunter's Fury. Save it. GG go next.
I mean, you got... You know, you got 3 more rounds, so not too many necks you can pull out, but yeah, I mean, it's a 1v2 regardless. They might have tag teamed it with the full HP that they had, but a very good attempt, but that is a little bit of breathing room for SCC Academy, and that was that lack of hesitation for the ultimates as well that I think contributed to it, alongside obviously Dizzy being able to shut down Slayer with his consistent pressure into elbow there.
Right
So, Fisherman, looking like they're changing things up, headed back towards A while faking the double initiator back towards B. They were trying to punish the players that have been fighting A main, and KM Lord did.
Yeah. Got the revenge against D&D. Magello is still here. Waiting. Whatever could come their way. Poison orb. Shadows on their faces. Hitting the smoke connector. Just in case anyone was over there. Keep themselves safe in the one way. Now it's gonna come back around. Yeah, hearing the footsteps. Slayer. Under jump peaks, but Jello all eyes on this Omen. Hearing all of the noises around them, paranoia there. Just completely ignore elbow, Zobi.
And that's where I think Slayer's gonna re-clear it after
Yep.
getting onto the site.
Ooh.
And there it is.
Oh, Jello! Trying to bring out the paranoia. Now they've been hit. They gotta get the heck out of here. Hit by their own teammate, but it doesn't really matter because Sushi's cleaning up. Still waiting. Gonna put out another smoke, holding in that corner.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, just simple as can be. Mikey spraying through the smoke, ping out the spike one more time. See if they come in for it, and Sushi playing it perfect.
Almost messed me
St.
up.
Clair, Saints Academy, putting up the numbers right now, Zobi.
And there we go. It's the lack of hesitation on these ult commitments. I mean, the procedure was good for the entry from Fisherman, but a little silliness there, right, from the Neon. Fortunately, shuts down that elbow re-clear, and while he was hit by his own conversion paths, right, he has a shrouded step, the Viper doesn't, right? So it stops him getting tracked down. And they had all that space managed as well around Link while SCC was re-clearing mid, so they could have that really expedited retake, since they know it's usually been ironclad for Fisherman. So great turnaround, great dissection here, but they're not out of the woods just yet. 2 players still looking like they were up on pistols. Fisherman still a bunch of ultimates in hand. And if B-side didn't work, if A-side didn't work, where do you go this round? You're running it down mid.
Yep, run it down. Dump in the utility, hit him with the recon dart. Use the 0-point knife to stop them and slow them down. But Slayer is getting punished in so many different avenues. Finally, this Neon not able to run away with anything. Oh,
Spike
Sushi!
down mid.
Patient as can be, but like you said, Mikey. Oh, okay. Taking a little too long for the headshots to get there. KM Lord. Waiting for their teammate to push a little bit further. That paranoia hits precisely.
Last
Now,
player standing.
maybe 2. Oh, well, Dizzy. Mikey was the knife in the back, and then Dizzy was the knife in the back of the knife in the back.
And that leaves Canton Lord with a very large task at hand. The 1v3, less than a minute left.
Whew.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah. That was
There's
rough
something
goes
to four
around.
here, Sam.
Rough goes around.
Last round
We said there could be a
before the
7-5. We're still sitting on stuff like the Hunter's Fury for Fisherman, still sitting on this overdrive that I thought they were going to leverage to get into that mid space last round. And last round, I think that was the idea, was just missed timings, right? The potential was there, the from the shadows immediate. And I think because it was so around the goal without hitting the target, Fisherman actually the ones to call a timeout here, wanting that 8-4. Maybe understand their comp is very aggressive, right? It's very attack catered. But what would you be saying if you're Guardian right now?
Slayer seems to be the linchpin of a lot of success for this Fisherman squad. And it feels like once they fall, it becomes almost insurmountable for Fisherman to win out the round. I think what we've been seeing from them, though, Zobi, is that, right, when they play for the execs on their site, once they lose their neon, they really don't know where to go from there. They also play off a lot of different, I think, aspects of the map, like what we saw in the last round from Mikey. And then they're just still kind of a little bit slow to get that action going. They're still trying to figure out where the rest of SCC is. So they have the right idea in dumping the utility that they have in mid, but I think just making sure that Slayer maybe temper a little bit more of that excitement and layer in a little bit more properly with the initiator util.
Yeah, no, and that I think just proves our evaluation right, that it is very duelist-centric for Fisherman and support for SCC Academy. Those support players are waking up, right? Versus D&D, Dizzy were getting run over prior. Now they're holding their own, and Dizzy, slower position here, yet again, head-to-head with the entry that's going to come from this Neon.
Yeah, just get out of there, Slayer. As the overdrive online, it's so difficult for Dizzy to get away. Tried to hit the spray down, but it turns out electricity courses through Slayer a little bit faster than bullets do. The 3v2 St. Clair State Academy on the back foot. In the spike plant, and Draken's just gonna spray and pray with the Odin, man. If it works, it works. Oh! Back him down with a shorty. Look up to the heavens above. KM Lord taken out. Now it's a 2v2. Mikey up in heaven.
Enemy remaining.
Tries their best. Draken gone and eliminated. All alone. Needs to get the spike defused. D&D gonna be ready for the player behind them. And again, right? So if Slayer is alive, these rounds win.
Switching sides.
Yeah, they were like overcomplicating it. The coach is like, just go back B, guys. It was like the needle in the haystack, the round that they were able to achieve on that like half buy situation, and I liked it. I mean, SCC, we saw some nice stuff. The site smoke retake was very creative for actually getting out of that choke, but there was really nice resilience there from Fisherman the entire time. But now that resiliency going to be tested. Sides swap. You're down 4-8. This pistol would be so nice, such a luxury to abide by, and it's like I'm thinking this is an A split with the chamber keeping B main room, just because I'm like, why else would your Waylay be bottom mid on a pistol? But it might also just be playing this super slow.
Yeah, where we see speed from Fisherman, which, by the way, they're doing that right now, and that's a good place to put the trip. All right, Cam Lord. Oh, paranoia, that's brilliant. But Slayer is going to keep their teammates safe. This Neon is unreal. And it's like you said, they weren't caught inside of that blind. So not only did they live up to their protection duty, the two they got off that back may have just put SCC already on the back foot during this entire round.
Ooh. I thought D&D found the typing. Mikey spots them out, but now you can cycle the orb, try and regroup with their players that are currently bottom mid, but they're getting cleared out as soon as that wall drops by Asher and friends top mid.
That's just difficult now. They're going to try and work their way back up, right? Look at all of the space that D&D has right now, but Dragon's got a lot of work for them, and Mikey at 10 HP sends them packing. Only one left to go. Black Moose. Precise as can be, a flawless pistol round for Fisherman. The perfect pistol rounds on Corrode.
Yeah. Honestly, Fisherman, these mid-round calls are so clean, right? I mean, SCC, they go for a nice trap to re-clear B main. I mean, it's heroics that Slayer puts online, but it's the redistribution after that, right? They realize they have mid stacked too heavily. It's 3 players, so after, we have Mikey make contact with D&D, you have Black Moose go over there as well, right? So then it's, okay, the only player that's alone is Slayer, who already got his 2, so that's a risk that you can throw out the window if he gets pushed. So, 9 and 4, that pistol round not found. No Force Antics out just yet either, and it just went to speed. The next level.
Oh my! What?
What?
Well, okay, all right. No scoped with the Outlaw while a Waylay is flying in at mock speeds. Yeah, okay. Mine doesn't do that. That's for sure. And then another pickup with a Judge. As soon as a player walks on the other side of that smoke. Looking simple so far. If Diz can maybe get a headshot here, right? Take away some of the weapons from Fisher. It's something it'll be. Maybe. Oh, in the middle of a reload, KM Lord, the timing not working. He's gonna get a nice, fancy new weapon.
Oh, but trying to flush Mikey out, they made enough noise that I'm surprised that we don't see more players from Fisherman leaning back towards the A site. They're so worried about Dizzy, who's just trying to cause chaos, and he needs to make more noise before these players start rotating back towards A, and this missed decision is going to cost SCC Academy, because now look at Slayer. He's also flipped on a dime, realizes that they might have tried to regroup with the chamber. Now you don't get B, you don't get A, you're probably not going to even get the spike planted. 30 seconds left, and Draken had nowhere to turn.
Yeah. It was already a difficult round for St. Clair once they lost their
Just want a
Waylay.
decision, Sam.
Yeah.
Just give me a decision. It's like that hesitancy with the ults we saw in the previous half.
Yep, it's again, right, it comes back to this whole notion of when they lose their duelist, they lose any direction that they want to go towards. And it seemed like they had an idea from Dizzy, and in fact, we're actually going to get a timeout called from St. Clair. They're 4-10, Zobi. This is a moment where they have to get this precise. They cannot lose this bonus.
And ironically, it's their first time out, right? Because it was Fisher that took it in the previous half. Probably helped, honestly, SCC also right the ship. But I think it comes out of what we just saw, a little probably garble of what they actually wanted to do, right? And probably something that communication fell flat where they weren't properly scaling to A while the distraction was coming from the chamber over towards B. So again, the ideas, the space, the timings are there. They're having opportunities. It's just the conversion off of them are going a bit sour. And what's that phrase where it's like it takes luck to spawn opportunities, but skill to seize them? And we're seeing that dichotomy right now.
Yeah. I don't know, for St. Clair, it's also running into a lot of difficulties when how fishermen love to play, which we saw aggressiveness from them on the attack, right? That makes sense. We're seeing it again here on the defense. Maybe not as quite as prevalent this go around now that we're in the bonus, but I don't think it's going to be any less impactful from this squad. A little bit nervous for D&D here, meeting the Outlaw of Slayer, especially since they are the one with the regen shield.
And they know he has the Outlaw. The way I found that out the hard way, right?
Yeah. Oh my word. Oh my word. Okay, misses the first bullet. Slayer playing it smart. But then Mikey gonna hold that corner very, very close with the judge.
And I love this pairing, right? We talked about it. You're not on, a Yori. You're not on a Waylay that can TP out. So what do you do instead? You have a pocket element, right? That can paranoia away you out, or you can follow it up with a judge.
Oh! That little crack in the smoke! I don't know if it was on purpose by Mikey, but hey, if it was, 10,000 IQ. While KM Lord sees Sushi fly in over the top. And a TP back. Flashbang try and flush them out. But St. Clair is taking so long to exec on the side. Finally they do. Paranoia tethering down KM Lord. I cannot believe what I just witnessed there.
Remaining.
They are tearing them alive piece by piece, Zobi.
It's just Jello. Who I thought maybe would be able to find the second on the flank, but they thought it was just Slayer. They peeled off back towards main, and those players also just steamrolled right in. And that round, I mean, the decision making was right for SCC. I'm just trying to figure out what kept Sushi from staying in the site the first time, because I didn't see much like retaliatory util from Fisherman that came after, right, the refract. And I don't want to say that's confidence. I would like to see it from their perspective and why that happened, right? There was no teammate follow-up, there was no util dump, there was nothing. They just didn't see anybody.
I think there was one flashbang that came out.
That was after though, right?
Yeah, it was... Okay, Dizzy. Oh, all right. What just happened? You blink and you miss it kind of moment, okay?
Fisherman's fighting tendencies finally got ahead of them, I think is the best way to phrase that.
Last player
Sometimes
standing.
it's just as simple as that, right, Zobi? You just gotta shoot your shot and don't miss them. Thankfully, Ashley's gonna make sure it's not a flawless round, but still gotta chew through 4 more players, and they are feeling very vicious right now.
They're gloating every moment of the 11-4 they're sitting on. Well, probably an 11-5 right about now.
Yeah, just play distraction. All right, one more to come. Yeah, that's good enough. And then Sushi reminding us why the Odin is a menace on Corrode. It's a 3G round here for SCC. One that they so desperately needed. The first and the second half, Zobi.
Oh. The issue is that was another perpetual bonus, though, because Fisher did win that 3rd round conversion, so they still have a bye. Minus Mikey, who will get bought instead by Asher. And the operator now becomes a mainstay, and because...
It's operator v operator, too.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm not sure that's what SCC need, but with the Tour de Force, I think it is a great solution.
You want to play?
Meantime,
Let's play.
Find you.
Again, this mid-start... And is this a high-low A main just out in the open between players that cannot get off?
Yeah. They're just gonna hold it right here.
For this one, there's an Odin. I'm scared.
They can do so much here. Isn't even really needed, right? Black Moose is only going to take out D&D. They still have smokes. They still have controllers. It's going to be a mad dash from Fisherman to get back over to this A site. Actually, though, a reminder that they are still very scary, and they can still hit those shots. Dragon's going to get the spike planted in this 3v3.
I mean, after such a devastating opening, how is this a 3-on-3, Sam?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering,
favoring
too.
Fisher, too. Look at how low HP the Omen is.
Oh, it's it. This is it, Zobi. It's the battle of the ops. Maybe not for too much longer, because a Viper is gonna be a thorn in the side of Dizzy. Asher's gonna walk in on site. That's unbelievable. All right, I was down to Draken at Odin, slow as can be. Slayer playing the fastest agent in the game. The fastest shot on that off. Fisherman, one more round to go.
Oh, the body blocking there on elbow. Asher just gets the transfer, and that opens up the entire side. I was so worried because the Neon was kind of getting pinned by the chamber, right? And that regroup just completely allowed them to scale back into yard. And I mean, I'm surprised Slayer hit that final shot as well. So from his POV, it's probably craziness. But yeah, 12-5. I mean, we said there was a world where Fisher messed up by picking Corrode, right? Like SEC didn't have any provable reps on it, but we know that they've tried to be well-rounded. And I think we been disproven. Fisherman showcasing that their one win on Corrode was well placed.
Very well placed. Still though, it's one more round that they have to do. St. Clair Saints Academy could still pull something out of their hat. It's gonna be difficult. 7 rounds just to make it into OT to bring us that scenario. But hey, Mikey, I'm sure that anyone coming up on the other side is not gonna be happening here. Ooh, that Prowler didn't clear out the entirety of the site, and that gives Mikey so much to work with here, and even protected more so and delayed out by the Hunter's Fury. That's
One enemy
gone in a little bit of a different direction, but yeah,
down.
all that's left is get rid of this Omen v Omen, and Fisherman wins out Corrode 13-5.
Yeah, it's just difficult because they didn't get enough traction from the wins they were finding that have to keep, again, firm cash flow. So when they lost that round, it was going to, again, go back to an eco, which we've seen them get a few thrifties in that map, but that round was not one of them, Sam.
Yeah, no, it was just a really rough attack here for the St. Clair squad, right? It was one round in that second half that they were able to get, and it just goes to show you the reps that Fisherman have put on Corrode was working out really well for them. And I think this was a highlight moment for Slayer as well, right? Obviously, we see the ace, but more so than that, we see that unique brand of neon technique that is the bane of many players. And it looked to be the bane here for St. Clair Academy, that even with their time, with the timeout that they took, just couldn't quite get their head on straight.
And it wasn't just the neon, right? I mean, somehow Dizzy is still top frag, right? But only 3 first bloods for a chamber, barely positive. It was that KO from Black Moose. Like, I want to know how many assists he got, and I'm going to go pull that number right about now. Had 10 assists, literally more than, almost double. No, Drake had 8. Anybody, let's say, of the opposing team, like, or his team, like, it's crazy how effective he was in just shutting down a lot of, I guess, the star moments that Dizzy should have had.
And again, we talk about that for Corrode. We talk about how Fisherman look on this map. The initiator utility was so coordinated, so precise. They knew exactly where they wanted to put it every single time. And when it worked really well for them, it worked really well for them. There was
Absolutely. There was, I agree, nothing that they could have done. And now we're going to a map where I think they have everything to do, everything to call around. Like, if we need a confidence reinstiller, I think it would come from Split. They've played it twice. They've won it twice. And we talked about how, okay, maybe missed timings were there, lack of calling was there. And if you haven't played a map, I feel like you don't have as much to pull from, right, in your brain, right, thematically. And I feel like if it's not fixed on Split, then this might be a lot faster than the evening than we thought it would be, Sam.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes, though, Zobi. When we come back from this break, we promise it's not going to be 30 minutes. But when we do get back, we'll see if SCC Academy is going to be able to take us to that map number 3.
only stumbled over diamonds, and I no longer fear the worst. I used to view you as a mountain that I couldn't climb but first. But I've only stumbled over diamonds, and I no longer fear the worst. You were the calm to my storm. You could take the wind, and though the wind stood calm, weighing on our shoulders, these the ice could never break us in. You were my horizon that I didn't see at first. You were my horizon, and the breeze is just what I deserve. You were my horizon that I didn't see at first. You were my horizon, and the breeze is just what I deserve. I used to view you as a mountain that I couldn't climb but first. But I've only stumbled over diamonds, and I no longer fear the worst. You were my horizon that I didn't see at first. You were my horizon, and the breeze is just what I deserve. You were my horizon that I didn't see at first. You were my horizon, and the breeze is just what I deserve. Way too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many drinks got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something different. Talk to somebody new, kinda wish it was you, kinda numb to the feeling. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We have just watched the Fisherman 13-5 St. Clair Saints Academy on the map of Corrode. Now, St. Clair has an opportunity to strike back on their map pick, Zobi, of Split.
Yeah, we said that Corrode was going to be a must-win for Fisher, right? Coming into this map, it's one they've lost to Otsu already in their previous match. And not like a close affair or anything. It was like a 6-13 kind of blowout. And that was with the double duelist that I was hyping up in the pre-show as well, where we'll get like a raise Yoru expectantly. And I'm curious if they're going to go back to the drawing board or how this time around things are going to fare.
Yeah, and we were even talking a little bit about how Split is going to go for both of these teams. St. Clair, love this map, right? Reason obvious why they've chosen it. They've looked solid. They look strong on it. Fisherman, though, Zobi, right? The map that we were talking about, Corrode, they needed to win. They won it for good reason, right? We talk a lot about what could happen to them on Split and how hard this is going to be for them.
No, absolutely. But that it's also when SCC are at their strongest, right? That they pose problems to other teams. And so for coming into this map, players that I need to see step up. Number one, there's not going to be a KO, so I do think Dizzy's going to be a lot better off. And well, he's playing a Chamber, which for Split itself feels like now an old, outdated pick almost, right? Ironically enough, it's usually just the controllers left to anchor sites, and then you play Retake Simulator. So I'm curious to see how he's going to fare on this map. And then secondary is D&D, right? He was also that player that's usually top fragging, like insane site anchor potential, and he was also just looking a little like fumbly around that B site anchor on Corrode is the best way to put it. And I feel like Vipers are typically they kind of move around a lot. I think usually mid vent is where they're placed nowadays. And again, if you lose track of mid space on the defense on this map, right, it's like your opponent can go anywhere they want.
Yeah, they have all of that map control to abuse. And I think this is where we're going to see D&D do a little bit better. Because like you said, they were fumbling on Corrode. And I think that just goes to St. Clair doesn't really know what to do with Corrode. They didn't really know how to crack that nutshell. It was, let's cobble this sort of meta composition together and see what we can get away with versus the practice discipline of an unorthodox setup from the Fisherman side. Now we go to a map. St. Clair knows what they're doing. D&D should be knowing what they need to do on Viper if they're playing it, right? And I think here for them, I think potentially Zobi going to be seeing that map 3. But what we are seeing right now is our agent select.
Tejo. So the suppression is not completely off of the table for this chamber if the drones hit, but I feel like a lot more leeway. But he was previously on the Fade, actually. So switching out for a true to life scan initiator is interesting. Obviously we did have the buffs where it's like a similar reveal, right, to what the Sova Dart does, so it's a little bit stronger, but again the timing is going to have to be perfect alongside this double duelist. And I'm wondering then, what are the trade-offs for them? Did they want a stronger post plant? Did they really want the Armageddon over the Nightfall? I feel like those are about equal strength for actually initiating a site exit on top of a double duelist. So I think the best rationale is definitely the post plants being a bit stronger. But we talked about SCC, the defensive issues they're going to have to struggle to tackle. But for now, they actually switch sides. It's going to be SCC starting out on the attack.
Yep. St. Clair Saints Academy on the back foot in this series. It's 1-0 in Fisherman's favor. Now we're looking at a small mid play. Meanwhile, Chamber Extraordinaire Dizzy poke up, and that first blood couldn't have been done any better. KM Lord taken out. Along with that, the smokes for Fisherman.
Oh, but the high-low, the reclear coming in. Oof.
Yep. Get out of dodge.
Got the space back at least, especially with the Yoder now back on the jiggle line. But they know this was the fake of the Chamber solo B main, and now they hear the ropes, the scaling towards A.
All right. The pressure. Mikey here is around them, but yet no one has walked through just yet.
The double toxic screen.
That? Oh yeah, the double toxic screen. Always a big nuisance here. Now Mikey has to rotate back around to see if, looking at where their teammate was, and guess what? You look away for a second, D&D gonna come right on through and hit you with a headshot. Sash Pack over the top. Black Moose is taken out. Slayer by themselves with 45 HP. And you, my sir, have just gotten pinched. St. Clair Saints Academy!
First pistol of the series.
Yeah. Them like that,
and that round was a lot of, I think, issues we saw fixed. Very direct call there. Right? Very back to basics as well. The trays that were coming through, both the crunch onto Mikey and Raptors, and then that re-clear the Tejo towards CT. All that was really nice, but it also reinforced the idea that we mentioned that if you lose control over mid, SCC can go wherever they want. So I'm hoping in the next few rounds we'll see Fisherman put up a little bit more fight surrounding that mid space. But the time being, the Viper left there, no money on the side of Fisherman, and they're surprisingly default. You usually expect like a group of aggro play, and there's none of that.
Yeah, they put the smoke down here, and then they follow it up with the missile, but it's just no one else to be there. Back off for now. Yeah, finally make your presence known, but D&D, right? Remember, we were talking about that shakiness from them. Slayer, a flashbang over the top. D&D is going to go back around for the fight, but not really much of a weapon upgrade here for this poor Yoru. It's going to be that Ghost, and now, for St. Clair Saints Academy, you're still looking for some of those weaker sides. You're still looking for some of those decisions on where you want to go, and teams group back together for this B hit.
Yeah, the gate crash out of A main allows it to be 2 and 2 split, but then they lost all that info A main. They didn't know if they were going to come re-clear, follow through. The gamble's correct.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I said maybe not much of a weapon upgrade. That thing was looking deadly. Slayer's hands. Thankfully, though, Jello has it almost immediately on the uptake. The double kill of their own. And gets the spike planted to 2v2, but Fisherman is just trying to do whatever they can here. Okay, that's a lot to do whatever they can. KM Lord. Headshot. Draken on the other side. In comes the smoke on top of the spike. And I cannot believe
Thrifty.
less than 50 HP, maybe not even 25 HP between the two of these players, Obi. A thrifty for Fisherman.
Wow, and that was my biggest question coming into the 2v2 was what util did Black Moose and KM Lord have left, right? And because it was a double duelist kind of trap play outside of A main that set up that round that forced them towards B, they still had that ever important paranoia that allowed them to isolate those ones as Spike Plant went down. So really, really nice just a grouped play out of Fisherman, and now the Rifles follow suit, but STC Academy reset. And I mean, you gotta strike while the iron's hot, trying to get into a site where there's less players sacked, so it's just Chamberlain with a headhunter and the rest scaling fast into A.
Cool.
With a hero rifle.
Yeah, hero rifle from Sushi, living up to the name. They flew right on in. Took down Slayer. Now probably is going to clear through up onto main. Asher being judicious and supporting their teammate. A guided salvo goes out to clear box. Asher has to be, dizzy. What did we talk about, Zobi, right? You missed that mid space. You lose everything.
And that was the trade-off, because look at the Rays, right? Mikey made their way all the way through B main trying to locate that chamber, but it came too late. And now, SDC off of a singular hero rifle and that headhunter backstab have forced Fisherman into a save, have thrifted them back to reclaim the lead in flawless fashion.
Unbelievable, right? Oh, poor KM Lord. All right, we've got some reports of DC, but
yeah, so KM Lord disconnected, which could have explained the late reclear of B main. Maybe there was a trap set up with.
Wait, whoa.
With Mikey, but no longer a flawless.
Yeah, and
So
they lose
sad.
the weapon too. Comes back around.
I think they handed the gun off. If you notice, that was a Guardian down. They're only losing a Guardian, and they wanted these extra vandals. That now it's not even saving anything.
Okay, I mean, it went from a flawless to a. Boy, I guess we're just glad to have that one person standing. They won the round, though. Really, I guess that's what matters. But would have been nice to have the weapons.
Yeah, which I think is why they went hunting. There wasn't too many upgrades to find towards their side of the map, their neck of the woods. But with how fast that round started, I'm expecting that damage was done before the KM Lord DC was communicated. So again, it's more like, oh, what could have been clearing out the chamber. But into the next. Still a little broken by from Fisherman, the Stinger, a Bucky because of that save.
Tried to clear out towards another angle. Brilliant transfers. These picks are happening all across the map. It's a 4v2. I think they're saying Sushi's still here. Oh, the boom bot being brought out. That's gonna cost them everything. Cost them their life. Another one inside. Dizzy. A couple of shots. Finally, though, Jello ready to take another fight, but in an attempt to bring the knife out and retreat, Asher gonna execute. Spike is still in mid, Zobi.
Yeah.
Fishermen are watching over it.
And since it's gonna be a while before that spike recovery mission comes to fruition, Asher was crazy on the Sova, calls himself a Sentinel player, and is on the Viper now. And still putting up a similar levels of performance. And Fisherman, we said it, they're losing control over mid. What do? You fight into that space. And while SCC attempted the reclear, the job's not done yet.
Yeah. was a little nervous about the directions they were looking, but yeah, finally KM Lord's gonna look back
One
over
enemy
here.
remaining.
Doesn't really matter though if Dizzy's gonna pick theirs. Now it's a 1v2. There's 30 seconds left on the clock,
30
and in
seconds
a
left.
very smart decision, maybe not so smart, Dizzy missing a lot of those shots, taking a lot of damage. Now it's a 1v1 because they realize that D&D is still here. Rue the day. Don't you forget what this Viper is.
Yeah, the smartest reposition after being noted over towards Mail. The seeds of doubt sprout into a round victory. SCC continue to stay on the top again on their map pick that they need to bounce back, prolong this towards Haven. And once again, Fisherman. Just the money. Disrupted, sour. Round after round, and Old's trailing as well. Nightfall online for SCC Academy.
Let's make
Putting a little more flair towards this mid hold, right, with the raised fade, understanding maybe that's been a win con now for Fisher.
Ooh. Okay, Mikey. This makes me a little nervous when that happens. Black Moose ready with a guided salvo. Let's spread out all across the map. SCC looking for whatever pick they possibly can grab. And Asher's very close, sitting at death's door, 45 HP. Careening in. TNT! In what world are you grabbing a double kill on A site?
Make it a triple, right? Yeah.
There it is.
I said he was having
It's
a quiet
Viper.
first map. He's proven it.
Last player
Had their
standing.
fangs on this map. A 4K for them, and a flawless for St. Clair.
I was looking towards that mid space, right? And I was seeing so much raise and fade utility invested, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is all a distraction, right? Instead of a single player scaling A main, it's the chamber instead of being B main, going alongside the Viper, and it just worked out. Hook, line, and sinker, and you can see now, Gren trying to hoist that fish line, that hook from the depths, and throw him back. But it's gonna be a big round. We mentioned that purgatory, the buy save. They're coming into a buy round, but it's on SCC Academy's strongest ult round. So it is a very, very difficult hurdle to get over, Sam.
No, it really is. I mean, look across the board. Nightfall, Viper's Pit, and Tour de Force. Into the shadows from your Omen. And Fisherman, I'm sure that, yeah, this is the biggest conversation topic that they need to have. They were in an eco round in the previous, and now they need to really make sure that whatever they do, I'm sure it's discussions on what to do with their own Viper Pit, how they want to use it, how they need to make sure that it's going to be...
Put him in.
Yeah, just slap it mid. That's really all you need to do. And then do not take away your Viper at all at any stage of the game.
It's like Fisher came up with the solution. It was fight down mid, right? Because you have a composition that can't hold that space, and then the SCC was like, okay, fine, we'll fight you there, and then we're winning. So again, there's still not necessarily a fix in that regard. So I think the Viper's Pit would be a nice investment, and it looks like Asher is positioned to invest it. So we'll see if that's enough.
Mikey has an operator.
So that'll force them into B where they want to play retake is my assumption here.
Yeah, look at this. And Slayer is...
Face your fear!
Yeesh. Yeah, that Nightfall is going to clear out these corner angles. But in the middle of throwing out their Hunt, Draken, Slayer capitalized on that opportunity.
No Nightfall for the
Gets
entry.
the heck out of dodge. Yeah. And you throw out the Boombot is going to take out the clone. Dizzy's going to try and do whatever they can, but yeah, I mean, whatever idea St. Clair Saints Academy had off the back of this Fisherman timeout, well, then a 2v4 now.
Yeah, I saw confidence in the swings in second, right? We mentioned how Fisherman had the realization that they've lost mid-control in previous rounds and tried to reclear, but it came too late. So this was immediate, it was perfectly timed. They crunched right onto Dizzy in the mail space before they had catastrophic impact while those players were trying to fight out of B main. So a little dysynchrony there, forced towards SCC Academy's way, and this round's not over just yet. With it being a 2v4, and curious to see.
Yeah, 30 seconds
the
left on the
recap
clock.
You have the
30
op
seconds
A
left.
that can fall off or showstopper. You're in a really good position.
Enemy remaining.
Yeah, this is big from KM Lord too. Sushi was barely working with anything there. Easy cleanup here. KM Lord, Fisherman, getting another round after the run SEC was on.
Yeah, they've had very calmly placed timeouts, and we saw it to secure the half previously. Now we're seeing it to try and stop that momentum train, as you've mentioned. And we mentioned how important that round was going to be as well, just from an ult perspective. Now they have their own online to combat that, try and finally shut out SCC's fire, snuff that economy. And Finally gonna see the operator and the showstopper maybe collide. Look at this A main presence.
Yeah, this is gonna be a lot on the shoulders of Mikey. Flushed out though by the Prowler. And Sushi is taking as much of this heaven space as they can. Here it is, one showstopper though. Sushi denied by Black Moose. A massive victory for Fisherman and for this Tejo.
Best showstopper survival rate. W key at the raise.
W key at the raise. Asher is just holding this corner. Someone's got to clear it, and it's Jello.
Hand in hand.
Hand in hand. Clear everything out. This rotation coming in from St. Clair, beautiful, but so is Slayer, right? The demon of Corrode. Been a little quiet on Split. When they're ready to make their voice heard, they are loud.
Wow, they're playing this so perfectly, right? Get the kill, get out, unscathed, untraded, and now Dimensional Drift is everything for this retake. The info, rampant.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah. Black Moose has really been popping off. 3 kills. Zobi, whatever was said in that timeout, right? This is... They are turning things around for this squad. They are looking clean, they are looking precise, and they are looking like they know what they need to do to stop St. Clair Saints.
Yeah, Black Moose becoming like a ping pong star, just responding to what SCC is throwing their way, playing off the teammates very well, and I doubted the Tejo pickup just a little bit on this map because I couldn't see the fade trade-off until maybe next half in the post-plant environment, but still waiting to see what the Armageddon will bring to the picture. And right now, I'm surprised to see Fisherman making changes, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They have 3 players stacked in the mid. This feels like they're going aggro trap play-esque, but the redistribution good now as the clock finally ticks towards 0.
Let's play.
All right, here's the Viper's Pit that we were talking about being put into mid.
Holy.
Sheesh. Yeah, just spray
Michio.
through it, and you got the wrong controller, unfortunately, but 1 is 1. Really all you need. Dizzy seeing the clone, not taking the bait, not falling for that. A lot of firepower being dunked onto there, and Mikey's finally gonna get something out of that operator. Took a little while, but hey.
I need a statistic on how many times people fight into the Viper's Pit mid. I feel like it's so high, and SCC Academy danced around the idea. They think better of it, or they're faking the rotation through water and going back. I mentioned it. It's a magnetic pull. It's like fight into the Viper's Pit.
Yeah, listen.
They know how deep the chamber is, B main. They want that.
And I know a lot of this has to be on the shoulders of Dizzy right now, clearing as much of the space as they can.
The op's here.
But the like you said, the op is kind of here.
Why
They're
did he move?
weaseling back around to A. Yeah, up 1 there. Sees where Slayer's hiding out. Sushi, good headshots. Slayer's gone. Now they're playing a little bit bold.
30 seconds
They
left.
do not go inside that smoke.
Looking for the high-low instead. The Omen TP's up towards rafters, and Armageddon sprung.
Getting sprung. Sushi still holding this corner. Guided salvos flying through. Dizzy, tour de force, and then here it is. Another shot with the operator. Now only left is the raise. Painting shell's not quite far enough out. They missed the first, and now they just need to get the heck out of here. Come back around with a shorty. Another opportunity, but unfortunately the bullet goes a little wide. Pick up the Phantom. Still continue to take these fights at 46 HP. A 1v2, a high-low. 1 player comes out. St. Clair Saints Academy leaves.
I was holding my breath thinking, like, if Mikey somehow won that round, it was definitely going to be on Twitter later with, again, the back and forth we've seen from these 2 teams already, just energy-wise, and honestly, like, again, the calms were there, you could tell, because we saw Black Moose trying to clear out the Omen. That was heard from the Shrouded Step, but again, that high-low was perfect. The bait in its switch from Sushi, who also was finally able to shut down Slayer. And it's kind of that full circle moment to Corrode where we mentioned, okay, Slayer's alive, they're having success, right? Even if they've been quieter, they've been finding the round-defining kills, right? For the 2 out of the 3 rounds that Fisherman have.
It's a lot to place on 1 player's shoulder, almost it feels like. But hey, so if it has to happen, that's how it has to be, and that's Fisherman is looking like right now. We may even have another pick-off here between D&D and Slayer at B main, but a lot of action in mid. A guided salvo trying to lay the push in through mid, along with the snake bite.
Ooh.
Slayer does their job yet again, right? The talk of the town, the star of the show for Fisherman. St. Clair Saints Academy is going to back off and rotate towards A.
And that's huge because SCC Academy, they've been really strong in these mid rounds, right? When D&D gets deep space, finds multi-kills. When Dizzy does the same. And now they have to forcibly regroup outside of A, where they've reforced this operator, and they still have the showstopper.
All right, stepping into the shadows, on site, clearing it out. Mikey! That could have been really bad right there, out in the open. Sushi missing the pain shells, but still gonna paracel in with the satchels. Already on site, though, is Black Moose. I don't even think they realize where Sushi is, or how deep they've gone onto the site. Tip of the barrel noted. And that's gonna give Sushi everything they need for that pickoff. Oh my word, Mikey! A shot in the dark!
He needs a full Yuto kit. He's not enough spike plant. There's 15 seconds to him.
There's 15 seconds and Sushi's blinded.
10 seconds left.
Busy may be the
Last
saving
player
grace of
standing.
this, but prayers unanswered as the horror town from Mikey, right? This operator, showstopper, shorty, whatever, they have it.
And then, yeah, there was a major mistiming there, right, between Sushi and finding Black Moose on the site, but response immediate there. And Mikey having a full kit after ripping the showstopper is 10 times more criminal, and was just perfect to deny after they gave that space on the site over to SCC Academy. So again, they're stabilizing. They're one round away from taking the lead back, and we know that here rifles are dangerous in SCC Academy's hands, right? That's what got us into this mess in the mid point of this map, but
Yeah, this
And
fight
they
makes me
tie
nervous,
us.
though, Sobi.
I agree.
This fight makes me nervous. That makes me even more nervous, right? Because one of the heroes is taken out and another one gone. It's Mikey and Black Moose. This A side is almost an iron grip in their hand. Seeing Jello noted by Stealth Drone. We're hearing the bandit shots go out, but standing
Salvos.
right in the middle of the guided salvo. D&D up through heaven,
Spike carrier killed.
towards heaven.
Spike down A.
They're aware of them though, right?
No one's
That
holding
goes
directly.
down. Yeah, no one's holding it directly. It may be on Cam Lord. One right there. Could have been so massive. A wide swing, paranoid out. Classic. Try inside, kid!
Last player standing.
I'm on the edge of my seat right now, Zobi, but the spike denied. A 1v1 D&D versus Slayer. It's gonna actually switch to the operator. This is so great. What is that crosshair? Give me a break. All right. He's just peeking out every single corner they can. They even saw them, but Slayer, top tier duelist, ready to take whatever fight they need to win, has brought Fisherman to even territory with St. Clair, Saints Academy.
I can fight.
He was like, Sam, you said I'm the star of the show. Let me show it.
Shine bright.
Oh my goodness. And honestly, that would have been a heck of a flick if D&D could have done it. I mean, he was already putting up heroics in that round, trying to wrestle it back, get another thrifty on the board for St. Clair Saints Academy. They would hate, it'd suck to trip, stumble, and fall right before the halfway point here. SCC Academy need to get up and start sprinting.
Get moving, right? That was the round they needed to win. We're talking about how nervous we were feeling before. Fisherman.
Poison's off.
They're looking strong. They're looking good. Asher.
Oh, he
Okay.
was just swing.
Yeah, KM Lord posited into mail. Yeah, KM Lord knows that someone's there. Sushi's gonna back off, but stabbed in the back by Asher. Dizzy has the trade, but a guided salvo is gonna force the hand to move out even further towards KM Lord.
Poison's off.
D&D still has to lurk up on towards A main, but yeah, right. You're going towards Mikey.
Like, finally they learned how to hold that mid space on the Fisherman side, and honestly I think it came out of the luxury of this operator, right? Mikey has not missed while holding this A main space. They can delegate additional players. The Teo can focus the salvos as well, and they've been playing off it really, really nice. And Cam Lord even here gave up the space, and now holding the more aggro Rafter line. Saw the cape.
Enemy remaining.
Yep. That's all that's needed in the middle of the utility too. May have drawn the crosshair away for a second, but KM Lord snappy. As Fisherman takes the lead.
Last round in the half.
Now it's more of a matter of is it 6-6 or 7-5. At least you have a bye. At least you have arguably the ult advantage here as well. And fortunately enough, the operator's not here either for Fisherman. I think this is the best opportunity they have, but it also feels intentional, right? You know a showstopper. You know a Nightfall's probably gonna come hurtling at you.
Yeah, playoff site. And you can
Yeah.
see too where they're setting it up. And where they're
They're
wanting
so
it to
far
go.
back.
Yeah, just directly on site. Throw out the smokes. Get ready. Here's the showstopper.
Fade it out.
Whew. Yep. Whiffed out the operator, but now you're playing for the retake. In goes the. Whoa! No! Replay that right now! Replay that right now! What
Spike planted.
in the world?
Welcome to my
You didn't know we even saw him, right?
No, it was the boom bot. That had to have been bullet error. Whatever.
Trying to
Anyway,
shoot the bomb. Yeah, 100p.
yeah. Meanwhile, Slayer is going off on a whirlwind tour of bullets. Take my breath away, Zoe, because I don't know what just happened, but this is a Fisherman first half.
A heck of a comeback there, Fong. It was ever since that timeout, right? It's not that 3-round streak from SCC Academy. Suddenly they felt confident in all their swings. Suddenly they had the mid-hold solved. And did Mikey pick up the off after that timeout, or was that later? I think it was right after that timeout too, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, it was. They pick it up after the timeout. Like I said, whatever was said in that timeout put Fisherman's heads on straight and sent them careening on a much better path. And St. Clair Saints Academy, like right there, I think that one round after that timeout, that was the only answer they had.
And honestly, like, being a deficit for this composition Fisherman is running, it would not have been the end of the world coming into their attack half, right? Double duelist the Tejo. We mentioned the changes to the comp from a Fade to a Tejo felt very attack-sided, right? Like, you already have duelists that want to contact in, so lacking that information is not terrible. It's more for not having the answers on the defense. And now, you can fake with the salvos, or you can play the post.
Yep. You put Dizzy here on A site.
They saw everyone.
Yep. Tries to take in a peek one more time with the headhunter. This is a vital pistol round that St. Clair Saints need to win. Looking pretty good so far, right? Mikey is bleeding out, but it's still a full 5v5 retake. Yeah, just fast swing it with the frenzy. Why not? Those are the kind of things that you can get away with. At Paranoia, though, doing a lot of heavy lifting for Cam Lord to come back around for the fight. Slayer, so many players in front of them, including another one on the other side. Black Moose on ramps, right, and keeping their teammates safe. And St. Clair Saints Academy have done it yet again. So it'll be another pistol round or split.
And it's such a small thing, such a minor detail of that trade, Mark, right, over towards Vent, but it allows them to full focus that retake, right? They take ramps in stride, they're not worried about their backs, and then they pivot right on to the Tejo that had a perfect internal clock timing. They're out of Black Moose, and again, Fishermen aren't going to be able to win out rounds like that, so both pistols go SCC's way, much like both did for Fishermen over on Corrode. They get the buy up here. Now, all we need is for them to not get thriftied, Sam.
Yeah, let's not get another deja vu moment. Let's not repeat the mistakes of the previous half. That'd be pretty good for SCC Academy. Be even more better for them is being able to tie this up. But Fisherman is gonna do it as plain and simply as they can. Send in the stealth drone. Mikey getting that first entry point in on. Yep, it's that typical rate. TNT just flies out through heaven, one by one. St. Clair Saints Academy, this is not how you need to be doing it.
We said don't get thriftied. What is this? It's almost flawless and Dizzy. I mean, retaking with an outlaw, disconnected from the Fade who's solo alley right now. Look at the regroup. Slayer's going for everyone.
Jeez. This is what I'm saying, and I mean, they were just funneling out one at a time from heaven, Zobi. And then you're getting dove on by a race with a shorty, and yeah, just hold that angle. Close with a Bucky.
To 7 HP, that's crazy.
Diabolical is what that is. And then guess what? They do it one more time. Give me a break, man.
To finish the job with the shorty.
Give me a break. That's...
Oh. And before all that shenanigans of the double duelist entry, I was like, okay, this is nice. They're trying to, like, condition that the drone from Black Moose isn't an indication of where the side exit's gonna go, right? He was solo droning on the pistol, then he was setting up the trap explosion out to be main, and no, it's just standard business. Set up the duelist for the entry, and now, I mean, the Yoda obviously can gate crash back whenever, so he's the opposite side of the map.
Yeah. This is the kind of power and the kind of utility that you have in St. Clair Saints Academy. Worse has come to pass. Yeah. Dragon, not quite the worst, but that is gonna hurt. Sushi trying to take advantage of a Tejo inside of the stealth drone. In ruins, though. This is easy enough for Fisherman to mosey on the site and get that spike down.
Yeah, not even get a chance at a numbers retake. Don't even get a chance at a retake. Look at Slayer. It's a classic.
Slayer's just having fun now.
It's a classic. It's a flawless. Fisher up 9-6. I mean, Not much resiliency there. I agree. I think the timing was a nice touch there, attempted at a Sushi, but Fisher don't make mistakes like that unless they have the silliness of a Neon, like we mentioned on that one. And look, the Dimensional Drift is already online. Slayer has topped the leaderboard now.
Yeah, I mean, we're just at the beginning of the 4th round on a high-value ultimate. Like a Yoru, like Dimensional Drift.
He looks like he's gonna use it to... I'm gonna say fake the B side, but Spike leaning over towards Ramen. The Rays coming in from mid space.
It might just be
I
simple
feel this to be
tactics.
split.
Alright, Steltron taken out there. Jello grabs first blood against the Yoru. Another one gained. As Dizzy rebukes the efforts of Asher. Oh! Sushi! Nice out! Didn't think Mikey was gonna be crazy enough to walk inside of there. It was all planned from the beginning, Zobi. Paint shells go through. Slowed down by the snake bite. It's not really gonna do much there. D&D has to move away from the guided salvo. It's just easy pickings for Mikey.
I like this regroup as well. No trademark this time around. Maybe, yep, position towards a main instead. They're just playing off the sound cues. They might not commit just yet.
That's Black Moose. Seen over there, but Dizzy has to be so careful, right? Very disciplined to not take another fight that they don't need to. And Mikey, we get it. You love the shorty there, buddy, but a little too far away. Dizzy, not gonna fall prey to that.
Yeah, there were some catastrophic mistakes there. Not full clears. I'm not even expecting the chamber up that close and personal. There's something we've seen is at SEC Academy, they'd rather hold their own and take their 1vx situations than give up that space and play a full retake, at least right now. And I think it goes back to the composition that they're running, right? Like, you don't have flashes. You have a Fade Seas maybe, but they've been using that instead to maintain space. So you really only have that race for retake and her kit.
Next.
Yeah, here's the Dimensional Drift expended, though. Walk in, make all of the callouts that you need to. Dizzy does not care, by the way. They know they're being spotted out, but they are going to try and take whatever fight they possibly can. Once Slayer comes out of another dimension, though, Dizzy's gone. Thankfully, Sushi has the trade. Gets to find a new weapon for their efforts. Now it's down to the 4v4. Spike
Spike
planted.
planted.
Yeah, that Tao's just not letting anybody breathe. The idea was to tame him, salvo him. He can't TP out, but he still just TPs into his another death, another outcome. And SCC, I said, retakes have been fairly fluid, but it's again though util.
Bring them down.
Bacon clearing out the way through. To St. Clair. Gotta look in the corner. Oh, Phantom Diff.
140.
Unbelievable. Unfortunate too, but the spike is still ticking away. Smokes are gonna go up and
Player
about.
standing.
Asher lands there, one. Jello getting rid of Cam Lord. As yet again, this Omen extraordinaire looking good. St. Clair Saints Academy though, Zobi. They're getting the wheels turning. They're getting the momentum building.
Shadows, they will hide you.
And they are. Operator online as well for Dizzy. Again, Fisherman does good job pressuring. We finally saw SCC kind of give that up, and the round goes their way. There's also, I think, some lethargy, right, to the Fisherman post and repositioning in the positions that they wanted, right? It would have been everything, I think, if Camlord, for example, found that kill on the crossed elbow, but nothing really aligned there tactically, so
Drone going out.
go, the little reset comes through.
Yeah. And stealth throwing them out. Slayer. Again, right? We talk about rounds that are won as long as they're alive and firing back like that.
Here.
Fairly good opportunity here for Fisherman now, especially with the loss of a Viper. His mid control is tenuous at best. Jello's gonna have to fill in the blanks. A lot coming in their way. May not have been hit by the paranoia, but they are getting hit by the bullets of Black Moose.
That's Spike!
There it is though, Dizzy. Like you said, Spike's there. So now they had to fight into the operator.
Oh, they have a crunch kinda set up between KM Lord, but he already invested his paranoia.
Oh, the timing, Zobi!
My ultimate is ready.
Completely nullifying this
Wait,
chamber.
Oh,
And Sushi lives long enough to be able to use it. The spike has gone down again. Okay, there we go. Never mind. I lied. I was just trying to bait out this raise. Satchel up and over.
Spike
Keep your squad protected. It was so close for Sushi, but a 1v2, the numbers proved to just be too much. Now Fisherman has dipped into the double digits.
a really, really good try there from Sushi. I like not being too overzealous and investing that showstopper off rip as well after the fact. Like when they were in the choke, I wanted to see it, but I meant like when the 1v3 not using it's nice, but does save it for the follow-up round. Again, maybe wanted to counter the showstopper, the Armageddon on the other side, try and bite at the time so they don't get the full impact, the full effect of it. And I'm looking like Fisherman taking fast beat off of this Armageddon. Like that is the game plan, and that is exactly why St. Clair Academy are out of the way.
All right. They've had enough. Put down stealth drone before anything's able to be done here. And Armageddon! Clear out back sight. Oh, DD just holding this angle right now. But it's too little too late. Jello alone with a sheriff. Thankfully not shortied out, but not able to do much more beyond that. Try to delay the spike planet with the pain shell. Slayer. Jaw-dropping performance from this Yoru.
Absolutely, and you can't say that St. Clair Saints Academy didn't try, right? They had so much delay utility on that choke point to disrespect the Armageddon, disrespect the showstopper. I think I saw a trademark slow, the snake bite, and the paranoia all invested to try and keep D&D alive on that close space. And you just have disrespect shown, right? From Mikey satcheling through to the swings that you mentioned from Slayer. And now, I mean, we're coming into the next, still with those ults online, but it was again a half investment last round, so I can't even imagine what the buy is like coming into this one.
By the way, kind of crazy that Slayer already has another dimensional drift ready to go. So, yeah, into the backside, typical playbook. Put him over there. Sushi dips into heaven in the nick of time.
It's a fake.
Throw all the way back over on the other side, and it's like you said, it's a fake. But at least D&D, not quite too faked out, does manage to remove Black Moose. But do they realize another? Ooh, that's a good spray. Hey, Lord, almost gone.
They're fighting deep. They don't want the Nightfall. They don't want the showstopper to be able to retake. And there's one down.
Phantom diff again. It's gonna be haunting my nightmares, Zobi.
Because he was so ready.
Yeah, commitment with the showstopper. Goes wide, no one there. Use whatever you can with the Bucky. Slayer has to occupy that kill feed at all times with Fisherman now. Match. Series. Point.
That was the third round Sushi had to be in like a 1vx clutch situation. That would have been a miracle to get through, and it's like nobody is answering those calls right now. 12-8. And I mean, that lurk was really, really nice from Asher, who also had a quiet map, but that was the Nightfall gone, that was the retake gone. And that's where, again, we've kind of seen both teams have those small slip-ups that have really, really big impacts on the macro, and it's just who's had more of them. And now, I mean, again, Money Sour on the match point round for SCC like Crowed.
Oh! Into the shadows! Jello didn't even realize KM Lord was here. So focused on trying to get ahead of the push. This, right, just completely ignore the Viper's pit mid. Every player, minus your Viper, on B. Hit him back with a Nightfall. Spike planted. Black Moose. Decayed on 1 HP. Reposition themselves towards hell. It's gonna be tough tides to try and fight back against anything here for St. Clair Saints Academy.
And look at Asher.
Asher, come on, buddy. This is gonna be easy as that. Dizzy's not even. Dizzy doesn't even look behind them. And a near unanimous moment, a flawless declaration to be made to the rest of Division 2 as Fisherman beats out St. Clair Saints Academy 2-0. They are the top dogs to beat.
I mean, we already knew this was going to be the team to beat kind of in Division 2, right? This is a team that almost went to, again, like the RBCC show match, etc. Or I should say, sorry, the Red Bull home ground. Rip RBCC. But, like, it makes sense. I think they did a good showing of it for it being so early into the semester. Again, you're integrating players like Dizzy. This is their first semester, but that does unfortunately mean that this is their first loss as well. No longer undefeated like Fisherman.
Yeah, it's a crazy stat line, though, for Slayer. 26 and 12. 5 first bloods. And it's just like, right, we were talking about how strong this map is for St. Clair Saints. And they managed to, right, put up 3 more rounds than what we saw from them on Corrode. But man, a lot of those times it's just getting dismantled piece by piece. And we were talking about the duelist versus the support matchup. It turns out when you have a duelist who can play like Slayer does, who can play like Mikey does, it becomes near insurmountable.
And no, Dizzy lost his title. Where he was, I think it was like he's been positive every single map that they've played, even if they've lost, and that was true for Crowd. 15 and 15, 15 and 16, one kill death too many. But again, entertaining series. I hope we get a rematch from them in the playoffs.
I hope so too.
I want to see Dizzy at his full strength. I want to see him learn to play around a KO, right? And this could be a completely different series.
It is going to be a completely different series. But as for this one, Zobi, it is fortunately the end of the road for us here tonight on Valorant. But make sure that you hit the follow button here on this channel. That way you get notifications when we go live, because we still have more games as the week goes on, including Marvel Rivals tomorrow, Counter-Strike 2 and Rocket League on Wednesday, League of Legends on Thursday, and good old plain Overwatch, no tune, they lost it, on Friday. So, Zobi, it's been an absolute pleasure to sit here with you, and a big thank you to our producer and our observer in the background, Rare Adam and Rachel Reached for their phenomenal work as always. And we will see all of you on the next broadcast.